Hello everybody, Papa Ken here, and this is my first impressions video for Dead Cells. I've got, in this video, we got a fair portion of my first playthrough, I guess is what you would say, or rather, my first attempt at this game. The first little bit here will be me getting used to the controls for the most part. But, yeah, this is a game that came out, actually, I don't think a full month, but a few weeks before I actually bought it and decided to give a little, record a little first impressions. By the time I'm actually recording this voiceover, it's at least a month since the game came out. And first I just want to say, I really like that character design, the person that meets you. And because it shows some of the inside humor that they seem to show throughout this game, because you're clearly... I don't even know how to describe you exactly. You are an entity, or possibly a person who keeps coming back to this body in a prison, and it gets possessed by like these little slimes, I guess you would call them. I'm not even sure what they are exactly, but yeah, it's a pretty cool design, and I like it, and it's... I mean, if you think about it a little bit too much, it can get a little bit complex, but I like it in its simplicity. And from here, we really just start getting into the battle, or get into the fighting of this game, and it's really the core of it all, is learning how to fight properly in this game. And at least for me, every time you come across a new enemy, it really requires you to be able to adjust yourself. Like the little neon green guys, oh, that was my first time getting hit, and that's why it prompted the dodge button. But, yeah, I feel like those guys are pretty much in every level, at least the ones that I've managed to get to so far. But every level introduces at least one new enemy. And, I mean, to be honest, their fighting styles, or the style in which they approach you, are very different for each one. Oh yeah, that's one of those little green slimes that, from what I can tell, was actually what possessed the body that I'm now controlling in the game. But for now, you can only tickle them, which is a little bit weird, but it makes them squiggle and giggle, and that's kind of adorable. And actually, we're about to come upon the third unique enemy for this first area, which I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe is called the prison. There they are, the pink glowing orb guys. And they... But again, a lot of it is learning how to fight these guys, how to approach them. But right there is one of the first things that is actually a bit of an issue I have with this game. And now, those of you that haven't seen this before, this game is essentially a roguelite, sort of like Rogue Legacy, though I think it's more popularly called a souls-lite, in that it mimics a lot of the elements of like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, all that. But it goes beyond that. And once again, here we have one of my big issues with that particular kind of enemy, and it's not just unique to them, but something that happens in a lot of the games like Rogue Legacy. There are shots that can travel across the screen. They will travel across an entire room to hit you. But there's rules that they can't just go through solid walls. And it's like at the times that they are, it's... I don't know, you're given an indicator of sorts that's going to happen. And I guess that's part of the learning element for this whole game. But the fact that... Oh, well, look who it is. Now, here is a between area that falls in between every major area. It's where you basically get to sort of upgrade things. For instance, we now are able to unlock the health flask. So that means I can actually fix my health at this point. Did I manage to... Oh, no, wait. I didn't manage to get through without getting hit, but I did find a kebab, which was a health up, which you aren't able to save those. You have to use them. And the... basically, the health item in this game, it's similar to the Estus Flask in Dark Souls, and yet it's not, simply because that when you get the Estus Flask in Dark Souls, yes, you do get a certain number of times you can use that to increase your health or restore your health. But at first, you're only able to use it once. And it sort of plays into the whole style of this game, where basically, if you want to get anywhere, unless you're really, really, really good and you are able to adapt super fast, you're going to have to replay it over and over. And here's another one of the unique enemies. Actually just destroyed it, but the dual sword carrying guys. I actually just unlocked, well, there's one of those pink bomb guys. The sword guys are really cool and really intimidating once you see what they can really do. Like, we'll see me go through a battle with them here shortly. But to go back to these pink guys, the fact that it's not so much that their weapons can go through anything, that's kind of fine. It's that they're able to see you when they shouldn't be able to. Okay, now we cut ahead. One of the first times I go down to a lower area, and this is not a gripe of mine, but it is something that, as a person who's a bit slower and methodical with their gaming, like that particular door that I came across, in order to open it or go through it, you have to reach it by a certain time. So you really have to just move through the first level as quickly as you can. Which, you know, that's fine for speedrunners and everything. It's something I'll have to get used to. And there we have a little bit of, I guess you would say, lore building or world building in this game. And how, oh wait, here we go. Yeah, those sword guys can teleport around, or maybe not even teleport, but dash around the screen super quickly, which makes them a bit frightening to go up against, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get wrecked. Like, they hit me once, and I'm down to 64 out of 100 health. And this is... As you go through the game, you unlock runes that enable you to do certain things, and I guess I need to get another one of those runes to get through that floor, or whatever it was. And what you just saw was the leveling up system, which I'll get back to in a minute. Here is one of the stores. And one thing that the game actually doesn't tell you, because it says R1 to buy, and I'm looking at the base stats of all this because I have basically a weapon in each slot. What the game doesn't tell you is that if you press R1, it isn't just going to automatically buy that. It's not going to automatically use your money. It will give you a screen that allows you to select which slot to put it in, and it won't actually buy it until you select it. You can back out and it won't take your money. And here's my first death. Yep, I tried to heal. I forgot that you have to hold the button in order to have the health actually potion actually restore your health. But, you know, that's the first attempt. I'm sure, well, maybe not many, but some people died in the same area. And here's some breaking the fourth wall, talking about how things seem to change every time. Some people might think that the island is alive. A bit ridiculous, wouldn't you say? I really do like her character, and I was hoping for a while that you could maybe play as her later, but nope. The next time I played this, you actually find her dead, which is unfortunate. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, the fact that they can just see you through not only those small bridges, but they can see you through solid obstacles is really annoying. But, that's just me. Now here is the first challenge rift that I came across. Boo! So you stumbled upon a rift, eh? Little thumbs up emotes from the main character. They did a good job of having a character emote and show personality when they don't even have a face. Like, all they're able to emote with is their hands and their arms. Basically, body language without relying on facial expression, which is really cool. Now, here's something I was going to touch on earlier. When you get those scrolls, you're able to level up certain aspects. You have brutality, you have tactics, and you have survival. And each color corresponds, if you look at the bottom left there, to a particular weapon or item you have equipped. Survival is typically much stronger toward your health and things like that. Brutality, you know, heavy-hitting weapons. And then tactics tend to be like ranged weapons, things of that nature. And this particular challenge area is not too bad. At least for me, it's like, it gets a bit harder as we move along, where we have those moving, or those swinging pendulums plus the spikes. Yep, didn't quite make it that time. And if I shut up long enough, you'll be able to hear the music of this game, and just take it from me, the music in this game is phenomenally done. Like, even if this isn't your kind of game to play, I highly recommend checking out the soundtrack. It is a treat, to say the least. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble here for some stupid reason. There we go. Yep, and there I forgot to hold it down again, but finally got the hang of it. But yeah, like I was saying a little bit earlier, the fact that you're only able to use the flask once when you first start out is a bit of a bummer. But again, it's toward the whole building up your character, increasing not only their stats over time, but your ability. I kind of get how it works. Like, eventually, it doesn't take too long to unlock the ability to... The rematch! But to be able to unlock the ability to use the flask twice. My problem is that they don't allow you to upgrade to the 3rd level, which lets you use the flask 3 times, until you deposit... I'm trying to... Well, let me think. I might be a little bit off, but I want to say 300 cells. Yeah, the first flask was 5, the second one I want to say is 30, and then it jumps up to 300. That's just a bit ridiculous in my opinion. Now I get the purpose. It's like it's supposed to make you want to try harder with your limited resources. I just really wish that it was possible to have that not happen. And as you see, I do have some special items unlocked. There are the, I think they're the bear traps, as well as some cutters. And the bear traps can be some of your absolute best friends in this game, once you know how to use them. And there's another type of enemy, similar to the purple orbs guys, that were throwing, or the pink orbs guys, where they're just able to throw stuff through solid walls. Now, unlike those guys, the purple orb guys, they do still follow the rule that if the door is closed, they can't see you, so they won't shoot a beam at you. So it's really, I feel like my biggest problem is those pink orb guys. Thankfully, they're very early on in the game. Now here is going to be the final portion of this video, and it's going to be my match against the first boss of the game. And it goes well, and yet not at the same time. Spoilers, I beat the boss. It's one of the ugliest fights you'll probably ever see. Now, this is my first time actually going up against him. And so, like, sadly, my second time going up against him didn't end so well. But, it's just kind of learning how best to play this game for you. And I guess I'll sort of give my summation of my first impressions here. This is a game that you have to be aggressive. Whereas Dark Souls and the others, they want you to be aggressive, but also take your time. This game really pays off if you keep moving, you keep fighting, and you just don't let up, basically. That's one way you'll be able to get to those doors. Like, I actually came across several more, just didn't include them in this video. But you'll come across several doors that are those timed locked ones. And yeah, you should be able to reach those if you just keep moving. And that's something that even now, after I've played it a few more times, I still have trouble doing. Again, it's like that, the bear traps there, a huge help in fighting this guy, at least in my opinion. Bleed attacks are always a huge help. But yeah, you gotta watch for, again, just like Dark Souls, and especially Bloodborne. Actually, I would say that me playing Bloodborne is probably the biggest help in preparing for this game, because it really does teach you to be aggressive more than anything. Definitely didn't help my platforming abilities any, clearly. But yeah, whereas Dark Souls wants you to be a bit more methodical in your aggression, you have to be aggressive in this game, and you have to be able to make a jump and, you know, fight as quickly as you can. It's a really interesting balance, in my opinion. And I guess as we're ending the video here, I really do recommend this video if you're a fan of action and the hard games that are, you know, Dark Souls, Bloodborne. If you're into those games, I honestly do think that you will enjoy these games. This game. There's a lot to unlock. There's a lot to learn. It's definitely one of those games that epitomizes easy to learn, hard to master, because I can pretty much tell that I will not be mastering this game for a long time. That right there is actually the Challenger's Room. Once you get that, you can unlock the daily challenge, which, guess what? I haven't beaten one of them yet, because I'm not that good at these. But, well, that's the end of the video, but let me just say this in closing. If you enjoy the challenge of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and games of their ilk, I definitely recommend this. I don't know that there's a demo, but definitely check out videos online. Check out some people on Twitch playing it. They might give you an idea of whether or not it's a game for you. And another thing to keep in mind, if you do have a Twitch account, there is actually capabilities to link the game to your Twitch account so that people watching you can participate. I won't say how, I'll let you figure that out yourself, but thank you all very much for being here for this Papa Ken Impressions, or Papa Ken Impressions, whatever they're called. It's been forever since I've done one of these, and I will see you all in the next video.